Welcome to Study for UPSC with me. Indian Polity, Laxmikanth, Historical Background of Indian Constitution. So today's topic is Historical Background of Indian Constitution. So let us go for which slide. British entry is 1600 as a traders in the form of East India Company. The British came to India in 1600 as traders in the form of East India Company, which had the executive rights of the trading in India under a charter granted by the Queen Elizabeth I. So it is in the form of East India Company. Short form it is known as EIC, East India Company. So next up to Sipai Motni, the East India Company will going to be makes the acts. After that 1858 Sipai Motni, the British Crown assumed directly responsibility for the governance of India. This rule continued until the India was granted independence on August 15, 1947. So with independence came the need of constitution as suggested by the M.N. Roy as a pioneer of communist movement in India in 1934. So chronological orders, that means what are the acts that will be passed by the Britishers in India. So let us go for that. The first one is Regulating Act of 1773. Settlement Act of 1781. It is not so much important. Let us see. Next, Pitt's India Act of 1784. Charter Act 1813. Charter Act 1833. Charter Act 1853. These acts, the gap between these are 20 years. So it is one trick to use that. And Government of India Act 1858, Indian Council Act 1861, Indian Council Act 1892, Indian Council Act of 1909 or Parliamentary reforms, Government of India Act 1919 or Montego Clemford's reforms, Government of India Act 1935, and finally Independence Act of 1947. So I think around 13 acts will be there. So in that Settlement Act of 1781, it is not important. So other acts you can know by using this trick. So here I am given one trick, that is Republic government has councils after government independence. So in this the first letter is R. So R, sorry, 1 minute. So R gives the code for Regulating Act of 1773. So E is a silent. Next word is letter is P. P gives Pitt's India Act of 1784. Then finally C in the Republic. So it gives Charter Acts of 1831, 33 and also 53. So next is Government, which is Government of India Act 1858. And next, as is not there, councils, there are three council acts, Indian Council Acts 1861, 1892 and 1899. Also after is not there, Government Act is there. So that is Government of India Act 1919 and 1935. So next, Independence Act of 1947. So you can remember by using this trick. So next, go for the first act, that is Regulating Act of 1773. So first act, the first statement is it designated the governor of Bengal. So the governor of Bengal as Governor General of Bengal. So first the governor of Bengal is converted into Governor General of Bengal. The first Governor General was Warren Hastings. So for the first such Governor General was Lord Warren Hastings. So there is a the what is that? Sorry, Executive Council will be established under this Act. So with a 4 members. So it made the governors of Bombay and Madras presidencies subordinate to the Governor General of Bengal. Understand? So Madras and Bombay presidencies subordinate to the Governor General of Bengal. So Supreme Court will be established in 1774 at Kolkata. A Supreme Court at Kolkata in 1774 comprising 1 Chief Justice and 3 other judges. 1 Chief Justice and other 3 judges. So next, prohibited private trade and bribing. So British government or the company, the East India Company made the workers in that company will be prohibited to make private trade. So it prohibited the servants of the company from engaging in a private trade and also accepting the present and also bribes, so it is gifts and all from the natives. It is prohibited those things. So this is Regulating Act of 1773. So here is one trick for you to remember Regulating Act. This is Governor General prohibited to regulate the Supreme Court in Madras and Bombay. So using this trick you can memorize these points. So the first one is Governor General. So Governor General of Bengal is renamed as Governor General of Bengal. Prohibited. So here is a prohibition of private trade and bribing. Regulating Act. Supreme Court. Formation of Supreme Court. Madras and Bombay. Provisions and are subordinate to the Governor General of Bengal. So let us go for the next slide. So next is Pitt's India Act. So Pitt's India Act. Before that there is a one act called Settlement Act of 1781 that is only amending the regulating, that's enough. So let's come for the Pitt's India Act 1784. So what are the points? So double government will be the main point in this. So double government. So it allowed the court of directors. So that is court of directors and court of directors and also board of controllers. It allowed the court of directors to manage commercial affairs but created new body called board of controllers to manage political affairs. Thus it established a system of double government. So another point, company territories, British possessions in India. So the company territories in India were for the first time called British possessions in India. It is also one of the points of Pitt's India Act of 1784. Next was Council for Bombay and Madras. So councils are established for the Bombay presidency and also Madras presidency. So let us go for the next act, is Charter Act of 1813. So the first ended the company monopoly. This is very important question. So when will be the company monopoly will be ended? In Charter Act 1813. This is the only point and it is the very important point. So next act is Charter Act 1833. So centralization will be takes place. It acts was final steps towards the centralization in the British India, and also Governor General of Bengal in a regulating act. It is called Governor General of Bengal. So it made the Governor General of Bengal as the Governor General of India. So the first Governor General of India was Lord William Bentinck. So Lord William Bentinck was the first Governor General of India. So it deprived the governors of Bombay and Madras of the legislature powers. The Governor General of India was given the exclusive legislative power. So legislative power of Bombay and Madras will be removed and given to the exclusive legislative power to the Governor General of India for the entire British India. So next point, East India Company ended as the commercial body and becomes the administrative body. So it ended the activities of the East India Company as a commercial body which became a purely administrative body. So civil services started but opposed by the court of directors. So opened the competition for the selection of civil servants and started that the Indians should not be debarred from holding any place of office and employment under the company. However, this provision was neglected after the opposition of the court of directors. So there is a one trick for this. So that is Governor General of India became administrated in 33 years. So this, so first one Governor. So Governor General of India is converted. Governor General is of India. GGI is converted GGI and become administrator. Become administrative body in 33. That is 33 Charter Act. Other points you have to remember, but these are the important points with trick. So let us go for the next slide. So that is Charter Act of 1853. So it was the significant constitutional landmark. So its separation of government takes place, that is legislature and also executive body. So legislature contains legislative council with 6 members with 4 from the Indian presidencies. So those 4 presidencies are BAMB. So it is BAMB. BAMB. So first Bengal and Agra, Mumbai, Madras, Bengal, Agra, Madras, and also Bombay. So these are the presidencies containing members in the legislative council, and otherwise is executive body. So the next civil services will be started for, it is open for Indians also. So a competition system of selection and recruitment of civil servants, the convented civil service was thus thrown upon it open to the Indians also. In the according it will becomes the committee on this will be Indian civil service was appointed by the Macaulay Committee in the 1854. So after this Charter Act, no charter will become under the East India Company. In 1857, Sipai Mutiny will be takes place. The first Indian war will be takes place. After that, the Queen think that the governments, the British Crown assumed direct responsibility for the governance of India. So then the Queen Acts will be takes place. So in that, the first crown rule from the 1858 to 1947. So the first act was Government of India Act of 1858. So in that, Governor General of India. So Governor General of India was renamed to be Viceroy. So in 1833, the Governor General of Bengal is converted into Governor General of India. In 1858 Act, the Governor General of India is renamed as Viceroy. The first Indian Viceroy was Lord Canning. So Lord Canning thus become the first Viceroy of India. So the next, Board of Control and Court of Directors is there, no? So both of these become ended. So it ended the system of double government by the abolishing the Board of Control and also Court of Directors. So in this place, the SOS will be created. So it created the new office SOS, that is Secretary of State for India, vested with complete authority and control over Indian administration. The Secretary of State was a member of British Cabinet, was responsible ultimately to be the British Cabinet. So next, so the another point is there. So administrative SOS create a body, administrative body. That body contains 15 members. So this is also important, 15 members. So next act, that is Indian Council Act of 1961. So 1961 Act is also known as second landmark of Indian Constitution. IC means Indian Constitution. So in Legislative Council, the 3 Indians will be added. So last act, there is a 15-member Legislative Council. In that, 3 Indians will be added in the 1961 Act as a non-officials. So non-official 3 members will be added. They are, so these 3 are from the India. They are Raja of Banaras, Raja of Patiala, and also Sir Dinakar Rao. So D Dinakar Rao, P Patiala, and B is Banaras. So after this, decentralization will be takes place. So it initiated the process of decentralization by restoring the legislative power to the Bombay and Madras presidencies. So decentralization. Next, portfolio system. So the portfolio system introduced by Lord Canning in 1859. So and also it empowered the viceroy to issue, so viceroy to issue ordinances. So ordinances, so without the concurrence of the legislative council during an emergency. The life of such an ordinance was 6 months. The validity of this is 6 months. So there is a one trick for this. So 61 ministers in legislative councils wear shirts and pants, other decent dress. So 61 ministers in legislative council wear shirts and pants, other decent dresses. So in this, 61 gives the act of 61th. Ministers will give, so it is not what. So legislative council, so legislative council with Indians, shirts and pants. So here is the DPB, no. So Dinakar Rao, you have to remember shirt. So there is a famous shirt called cloth is called Banaras shirts. So Banaras shirts, pant, Patiala pant. There is a pant, Patiala pant. So Patiala Raja and also Banaras Raja and others. Other gives the ordinance. So decent, decentralization, dress. So these are all the trick given by me. If you like, you have to use in your study. So next, go for the next slide. That is Indian Council Act 1892. Sorry, there is Council Act and is there. So that is Council Act of 1892. So in this, the expansion of legislative council will be increased, and now increases the non-officials. The non-officials are were Indians. The expansion of legislative council non-officials will be increases. That means the Indians will be increases in the legislative council. So next, power of legislative council in budgeting and executive questioning. So the power to the legislative council in budgeting and also asking questions to be executive. It increases the function of the legislative councils and give them the power of discussing the budget and addressing the questions to the executive. So the next, indirect elections to the non-officials. It provided for the nomination of the some non-official members, that is Indians, of a central legislative council. That will be the indirect election. So the act made a limited and indirect provisions for the use of elections in the filling up some of the non-official seats both in the central and also provincial legislative councils. The word election was, however, it is not used in the act. The process was described as the nomination made on the recommendation of the certain bodies. So next act is Indian Council Act of 1909. It is known as Morley-Minto reforms. So here Morley-Minto reforms. Morley is the Secretary of State and Minto was the Viceroy of the in that time. So here it is so collectively called Morley-Minto reforms or Indian Council Act of 1909. So sorry. So in that, Legislative Council expands its number from 16 members to the 60 members. So Legislative Council expands from 16 to 60. So Indians in Viceroy Executive Council. So it provides for the first time. It provides for the first time for the association of Indians with the Executive Council of the Viceroy. So it gives the opportunity to the Indians in the Executive Council of Viceroy and governors. The first one member was Satyendra Prasad Sinha, become the first Indian to so sorry. So Satyendra Prasad Sinha became the first Indian to join the Viceroy Executive Council. He was appointed as the law member. So go for the next one, separate communal electorate system. So separate electorate system was be enacted by this act. For the under this, the Muslim members were to be elected only by the Muslim voter. Thus the act was legalized communalism, and Lord Minto came to be the known as for the father of communal electorate. So there is one clue trick for this. So one sorry. Trick is there. In 16 Indians, 16 Indian viceroys, 9 are Islamic. In 60 viceroys, 9 are Islamic. So 60 gives number 16 to 60. Indians as Viceroy Council India 9. Here the name of the act. Islamic it is a community in Muslim community. So Muslim community, it is communal electorate. So you can understand by this trick. So next one is Government of India Act 1919 or Montego claims for reforms. Here Montego was the Secretary of State and Chelmsford was the Viceroy of the in this time. So for the first point is separate central and legislative state subjects will be separated. So there are central subjects and also state subjects or provincial subjects will be separated. So and also diarchy in provinces. So diarchy of provinces will be takes place where the transferred subjects, reserved subject and also direct elections will be reserved subjects will be classified. So the transfer subjects authorized by the governor and also ministers, where reserved subjects are authorized by the governor and executive council. So it further divided the provisional subject into two parts, that is transferred and reserved. The transferred subjects were to be administered by the governor with the aid of minister, and reserved subjects on other hand were to be administered by the governor with his executive council. So the next point is direct elections. So it introduces for the first time bicameralism and direct elections in the country. So and created, so thus the bicameral legislature consisting of an upper house or council of state and the majority of and a lower house legislative assembly. So Viceroy Council contains 3 Indians. So the legislative Viceroy Council will be, it contains 3 Indians. So it requires the 3 of the 6 members of the Viceroy Executive Council other than the so what to be Indians. So the next one, Central Civil Service Commissions will be provided. It provided for the establishment of public service commissions, and the Central Public Service Commission was set up in 1926 for the recruiting the civil servants. So next there is a 2 commissions, that is Simon Commission and also Communal Award is there. So let us know about the Simon Commission in a brief way. So Simon Commission to check the conditions of India. The Simon conditions will be enacted. The British government announced the appointment of 7 members. So 7 members statutory commission under the chairmanship of John Simon to report on the conditions of the India under the new constitution. So in 1927 it reported its its observations in the 1930s. So it result what is the result of this Simon Commission will be the enactment of the 1935 Act. So what are the suggestions that were given by the Simon Commissions were, so abolition of the diarchy. So abolition of diarchy will take place, and continuation of the communal electorate. It suggested to continue the communal electorates and start federation in India, and and also strong government in the provinces and also princely states. So these are the suggestions will be given by the Simon Commission. The next one will be the Communal Award or Pune Pact. This is also one of the important aspect given in this Laxmikanth book, is that Communal Award or Pune Pact. So it was in 1932 by the Macdonald, who is the British Prime Minister in August 1932. Ramsay MacDonald, the full name of that PM is Ramsay MacDonald, the British Prime Minister, announced a scheme of representation of the minorities which came to be known as Communal Award. So the next, the communal representation for the weak or depressed section. It gives the representation for the uh, weak and depressed sections. So Gandhiji will be opposed for this because it makes uncertainty like quarrels between the Muslims and also weaker sections, because before that there is only representation of Muslims will there. With this it may make the uncertainty between the weaker sections and also Muslims. So on this, the agreement known as Pune Pact was retained the indigent electorate and gave the resources for the deprived classes by an agreement. That agreement will be takes place between the Congress with the depressed caste in the Pune jail. So it has also called the Yeravada jail in Pune. So finally, it will be concluded that there is no separate electorate for the reserved or depressed castes or sections. Only reservation for the depressed caste will be allowed. So go for the next will be, that is Government Act of 1935. Government Act of 1935. So the act marked as second milestones towards the completely responsible government in India. It was lengthy and detailed document having the 321 sections and 10 schedules. So all India Federation established in both in provinces and also princely stated, the power will be distributed to the center with 59 items by the federal list, in the provinces with 54 items in the provincial list, both concurrently 36, and residual gives to the viceroy. However, the federation never came into being in the princely state, did not join it. So diarchy will be abolished in the provisions and replace the provisional autonomy. So it abolished diarchy in the provisions and introduced provincial autonomy in the its place. So state diarchy will be, it provided for the adoption of diarchy in the center, or state diarchy in the center. By a commission out of 6 provinces, out of 11 provinces, 6 states will enacted the bicameralism. So those are BBMBA and United Provinces. What are the BBMBA? So that is Bengal, Bombay, Madras, Bihar, Assam, and United Provinces were made. Bicameralism consisting of a legislative council, that is upper house, and legislative assembly with lower house. However, many restrictions were placed on them. So abolition of Council of India. So Council of India will be abolished. So communal representation for the scheduled castes and also women laborers, for the women laborers it will be given. So for establishment of Reserve Bank of India, Federal Public Service Commission, Joint Public Service Commission, and Provisional Public Service Commissions will be established. So Federal Bank will be established. So it provides for the establishment of Federal Bank. sorry, not, it is wrongly mentioned, sorry for the, it is not federal bank, it is federal court which is set up in 1937. So it is established in 1937. So go for the next act, that is Indian Independence Act of 1947. So the last one, the Indian Independence Act of 1947. So on Jan 1947, the Prime Minister of British Clement Attlee declared that the end of rule will be takes place by June 30 of 1948. So but January 1947, Viceroy Lord Mountbatten will be given a one pattern known as partition plan by partition between the India and also Pakistan. So British rule ends in 15th August 1947. So becomes a sovereign and also independent country called India. Partition will be takes place, that is Pakistan and also India will be divided by the Jan 1947 Viceroy Mountbatten partition plan. So, and Secretary of State and his function will be going to be abolished, and the government of India, governor and also governor general of India will become the nominal. So here now also it is there, governor general of India is nominal in the place of the president, governor as it is. So civil services ends for the Britishers not before the August 15, 1947. The one who became the civil servants before 1947 August 15, they will be continue as it is. After that, there is no civil service for the Britishers. So here it is, the act will be over. So next there are some important aspects is there. So Governor General of India at the time of independence were Lord Mountbatten. So next PM at that time was the Prime Minister of India was Jawaharlal Nehru, and in 1946 the Constitutional Assembly, so CA Constitutional Assembly will be made. The law minister at that time was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and the external affairs minister was the Jawaharlal Nehru. These points are very important, I think so. So thank you for watching this. So like, subscribe and share for more information. Thank you. Your future is best. Thank you.